हरे कृष्ण। कुंज बिहारी जय राधा माधव कुंज बिहारी जय राधा माधव कुंज बिहारी जय गोपी जन वल्लभ गिरिवरधारी जय गोपी जन वल्लभ गिरिवरधारी यशोदानंदन ब्रज जन रंजन यशोदानंदन ब्रज जन रंजन यमुना तीरा वनचारी यमुना तीरा वनचारी जय राधा माधव कुंज बिहारी जय गोपी जन वल्लभ गिरिवरधारी जय जो गोपी जन वल्लभ गिरिवरधारी हरे कृष्णा कृष्ण कृष्ण हरे हरे राम 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 हरे 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 कृष्णा कृष्ण कृष्ण हरे हरे राम 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 हरे 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 कृष्णा कृष्ण कृष्ण हरे हरे राम 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 हरे हरे Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. जय राधा गिरिधरी राधा गिरिधरी राधे, जय गौरानिताय गौरानिताय गौरानिताय, जय गौरानिताय। जय जगन्नाथ जय जगन्नाथ, जय बलदेवा जय सुभद्रा, जय श्री प्रभुपाद की जय। Let's begin with the Mangalacharan, prayer of auspiciousness. Narayanam namaskritya naram chaiv narottamam devim saraswatim vyasam tato jayamudire Shinvatam swakatha Krishna punyashama kirtana hridayam sthoya bhadrani vidnoti swet satam nashprayesha bhadreshu nityam bhagvat sevaya bhagavate uttam shloke bhaktir bhavati neshtaki yat kirtanam yat shravanam yadikshanam yad vandanam yat smaranam yadarhanam lokasya sadyo vidnoti kalmasham तस्मै सुभद्रशवसे नमो नमः। निम्नगानां यथा गंगा देवानामच्युतो यथा वैश्वानां यथा शंभु पुराणानां इदं तथा सर्वशास्त्रादिपीयूषा सर्वैदिक सत्फला सर्वसिद्धांत रत्नाद्या सर्वलोकदृक्पदा सर्वभागवत प्राण श्रीमद्भागवत प्रभु कलिध्वांतोदितादित्या श्रीकृष्ण परवर्तति परमानंद पाठाय प्रेम वर्षाय अक्षराय ते सर्वदा सर्वसेव्याय श्रीकृष्णाय नमस्तुते मदेक बंधु मत संगिन मत गुरो मन महाधन मन निस्तारक मत भाग्य मत आनंद नमस्तुते असाधु साधु तादाइन अति नीचोजता कर आनामुंचा कदाचुन माम प्रेम हित कंठ्योस्फुरा यस्य वैश्वमाणायाम कृष्णे परम पुरुषे भक्ति उत्पद्यते पुंसा शोक मोह भयापहा। I will read first some part from Srila Prabhupada's Lilamrita, from where it was left yesterday, and then we will take up today's verse from Srimad Bhagavatam. This I am reading from Srila Prabhupada's Lilamrita, from the chapter which is entitled New Jagannath Puri. Srila Prabhupada had come to the West to fulfill the desires and the vision of his spiritual master and of Bhakti Vinod Thakur by creating Vaishnavas among Westerners. Now, if the Westerners were to become actual devotees, they would have to be given the deity worship. Otherwise, it would be more difficult for them to become purified. Srila Prabhupada was confident on his spiritual master's direction and in the scriptures. He had faith that Lord Jagannath was especially merciful to the fallen. He prayed that the Lord of the universe would not be offended by his reception at New Jagannath Puri. When the kirtan ended, Prabhupada asked Haridas to bring him the candle. Prabhupada passed his hand across the flame and touched them to his forehead. Yes, he said, show everyone, each and everyone, when whatever they can contribute here, take it like this and show everyone. He indicate he indicated that Haridas should present the candle before each person in the room so that all present could touch their hands to the flame as he had shown and then touch their forehead. As Haridas went from person to person, a few devotees dropped some coins on the plate and others followed. Srila Prabhu has explained further. The Bhagavatam has recommended hearing, chanting, and thinking and worshipping. Thinking. This process, which we just now introduced on the advent of Jagannath Swami, means that now this temple is now completely fixed. So this is the worshipping process. This is called Aarti. So at the end of the Kirtan, this Aarti will go on, and the worship process is to take the heat of the light, and whatever your condition is, pay something for the worship. So this simple process, if you follow, you just see how you realize the absolute truth. Another thing, I request you, all the devotees, when you come to the temple, you bring one fruit and one flower. If you cannot bring, if you can bring one, if you can bring more fruit, more flower, it is very good. If not, it is not very expensive to bring one fruit and one flower and offer it to the deity. So I will request you, when you come to the temple, you bring this, whatever fruit it may be. It does not mean that you have to bring very costly fruit. Any fruit, whatever you can afford, one fruit and one flower. He paused, looked around the room. Yes, now you can distribute prasadam. The guests sat in rows on the floor and the devotees began serving prasadam, offering the first plate to Prabhupada. The food preparation were those Prabhupada had personally taught the devotees in his kitchen. Samosas, halwa, puris, rice, several cooked vegetables, fruit, chutney, sweets, all the Sunday specials. The guests loved the prasadam and ate as much as they could. When the devotees, especially the expert women, served more and more prasadam, the guests relaxed and enjoyed an evening of feasting and convivial conversation. After Prabhupada tasted all the preparation, he looked with raised eyebrows. Very nice preparations. All glories to the cookers. A few minutes later, as the feasting continued, Srila Prabhupada spoke into the microphone, Jagannath Swami Nayana Pathagami Bhavatu Me. Howard, repeat this. Hayagriva swallowed, cleared his throat, and spoke up. Jagannath Swami Nayana Pathagami Bhavatu Me. Prabhupada, yes, this should be chanted. Jagannath Swami Nayana Pathagami Bhavatu Me. A boy asked what it meant. Hayagriva replied, oh, 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 Lord of the universe, please be present before me. When Prabhupada noticed an older, uh, respect, respectably dressed man leaving the room without receiving a feast plate, Prabhupada became concerned. Oh, why is he going away? Ask him to come. The boy ran after him, opening the temple door and calling, please don't leave, Swamiji requests. As the man re-entered the storefront, Prabhupada requested, please, please take prasadam. And turning to the servers, he instructed, give him first. And so the feasting continued beneath the altar of Lord Jagannath and under the auspices of his servant, Srila Prabhupada. I'll stop here. Srila Prabhupada Leela Amrita ki jai. We'll take up today's verse now from Srimad Bhagavatam. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. This is text number 18, today's verse from Canto 4, chapter 30. Please repeat after me. Atmay anpayinya bhaktyapak gunashayah upiyasyat madhama nirvidya niryad ataha. Atmay anpayinya bhaktyapak gunashayah upyasyat madhama nirvidya niryad ataha. Atmay anpayinya bhaktyapak gunashayah upyasyat madhama nirvidya niryad ataha.
Yatha mayana payanya
Atmay anpayinya
bhaktya pakva gunasayaha
bhaktyapak gunashayah
upayasyatha madhama
upyasyat madhama
nirvidya nirayadhyatha.
nirvidya niryad ataha. Atmay anpayinya
Bhaktya pakva gunasayaha bhaktya
bhaktyapak
pakva
gunashayah
gunasayaha madhama
upyasyat
upayasyatha madhama
madhama
nirvidya nirayadhyatha
nirvidya
nirvidya.
niryad ataha. Atmay anpayinya bhaktyapak gunashayah upyasyat madhama niryaditaha. What word translation? Translation and report by Srila Prabhupada. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. What word? Therefore, my unto me, anpayinya, without any deviation, bhaktya, by devotional service, bhak guna, free from material contamination, ashaya, your mind, upayasyat, you will attain, madham, my abode, nirvidya, being completely detached, niryat, from material existence. Atha, thus. Translation. Thereafter, you will develop unadulterated devotional service unto me and be freed from all material contamination. At that time, being completely unattached to material enjoyment in the so-called heavenly planets, as well as in the hellish planets, you will return home back to Godhead. Purport. By the grace of the Lord, the Prachetas were given special facilities. Although they could live millions of years to enjoy material facilities, they still would not be deviated from the transcendental loving service of the Lord. Being thus fully engaged, the Prachetas would be completely freed from all material attachment. Material attachment is very strong. During one's lifetime, a materialist engages in acquiring land, money, friends, society, friendship, love, and so on. He also wants to enjoy the heavenly planets after the annihilation of the body. If one is engaged in devotional service, however, he becomes unattached to all kinds of material enjoyments and suffering. In the material world, those who are elevated to the higher planetary systems are supposed to enjoy all material facilities, whereas those degraded to lower planetary systems are supposed to live in a hellish condition. The devotee, however, is transcendental to both heavenly and hellish levels. According to Bhagavad Gita 14:26, a devotee's position is described in this way. Mam cha vyabhicharena bhakti yogena sevte saguna samtityetan brahm bhuyaya kalpate. One who engages in full devotional service, who does not fall down in any circumstances, at once transcends the modes of material nature and thus comes to the level of Brahman. A devotee is always situated on the Brahman platform. He has nothing to do with the material happiness or distress. And one is strongly fixed in devotional service and free from all material attachment, uncontaminated by the mode of by the uncontaminated by the material modes of nature, he becomes fit to return home back to Godhead. Although by special blessings the Prachetas would enjoy material facilities for millions of years, they would not be attached to them. Thus, at the end of their material enjoyment, they would be promoted to the spiritual world and return to Godhead. The word Pak Gunashaya has special significance, for it means that by the devotional service, one is able to give up the influence of the three modes of material nature. As long as one is influenced by the modes of material nature, he cannot return to Godhead. It is already explained that all planets in the material world, beginning from Brahmaloka down to the hellish planets, are unfit places for a devotee. Padam padam yat viptam natesham. A place where there is danger at every step is certainly not a comfortable place. The Lord therefore says in Bhagavad Gita 8:16, Abrabhu naloka punar avritano arjun, mam upetit konteya punar janam na vidyate. From the highest planet in the material world down to the lowest, all are places of misery, wherein repeated birth and death take place. But one who attains to my abode, O son of Kunti, never takes birth again. Thus, there is a thus there is no profit, even if one is promoted to the highest planet in the material universe, Brahmaloka. However, if one is somehow or other promoted to the abode of the Lord, he never returns to the material world. Prabhupada ki jai. हुकुम करोति वाचालम पगो लंघायते गिरिम यत् कृपा तम अहं वंदे श्री गुरु दीन धारणम. First of all, I should say I was not scheduled to speak today. I was scheduled to speak on 17th of November. I was told on Friday at around 2 o'clock that you please give class today. So I reflected for a moment. It happened last time also, just a day before I was told to speak in the class. And I had already prepared some kind of thoughts on what to speak on my scheduled class. So was the situation today, this time also. And then I immediately thought, no, it is Kartik month, and 17th November is coming after the Kartik month. So I thought, let me grab this opportunity, as we hear from Padam Puran, that every devotional act you do, the benefit is 1,000 times more. So I thought, let me make some efforts to speak today. Also, knowing the fact that Bhagavatam says that whenever there is a Krishna Katha, three types of persons are purified. Bhaktaram, the verse says like this, Vasudeva Katha Prashna, Purushas Teen Punatihi. Bhaktaram Prachakam Shrotams, Tata Tatpad Salile Yatha. Just like a river Ganges, when it emanates from the lotus feet of the Lord, it purifies three planetary systems, upper, middle, and lower. Similarly, wherever there is a Krishna Katha, the topics of Krishna are discussed. Three types of people are purified. Vaktaram, speaker, like today I am speaking. and Prachakam, a person who makes question after the session of talk. And third is those who are listening. So in that background, I'm giving this class that today is a very beneficial day, very auspicious day, one of the days in Kartik month. And coming back to this verse, before we touch this verse, let's look at the background of this verse. After concluding the story of Puranjan in the previous few chapters by Maitre Muni is speaking to Vidurji, another saintly person. And after concluding the story of Puranjan, in which Maitre Muni talked about the sons of King Prachina Barhi, whose names were Prachetas. So Vidurji was curious about the situation of Prachetas. So in the beginning of this current chapter, which is 30, and which is named as Activities of the Prachetas, Vidurji asked Maitre Muni, what did they gain by performing devotional service? So the chapter begins by a question. Ye tvaya vehita brahman tuta prachin barihisha te rudra giten harim siddhim apu partoshakam. What by chanting these songs or mantras given by Lord Shiva, what did they achieve? What desire they got fulfilled? Siddhim apu partoshakam. So Maitre Muni replied that the Prachetas underwent severe austerities within the waters of seas for 10,000 years, and they chanted the mantras or songs given by Lord Shiva, and those songs were meant to glorify the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Pleased with these austerities, Lord Vishnu appeared before them in his 8-armed form and blessed them. Lord also asked them if they can take a benediction. And then Lord instructed Prachetas to get married to a girl who was reared or who was brought up by the moon god. And Lord also foretold that they will be blessed with a son. The next thing Lord said that now you, after marriage, you enjoy all the material facilities for 1 million celestial years. The calculation of time in heavenly planets is in celestial sphere is different from earthly timing. 1 year of earthly planet is equal to 1 day in heavenly planets. So in that sense, Lord gave them the special facility to enjoy the material enjoyment for millions of years. And then Lord said that after enjoying the material facilities, you will still remain unattached to them, and eventually you will come back to Godhead. So the today's verse is all about Lord explaining the benefit of devotional service. So we'll take it from there. And in the purport, Srila Prabhupada writes that a devotee is always situated in the Brahman platform. He has nothing to do with the material happiness and distress. And then further, Srila Prabhupada writes, the word Pak Gunashya has special significance, for it means that by devotional service, one is able to give up the influence of the three modes of material nature. As long as one is influenced by the modes of material nature, he cannot return to Godhead. So this is the point we are going to discuss today, that as long as one is in the grip of mode of material nature, one cannot return back to Godhead. Uh, the issue of mode of material nature has been discussed in details in the 14th chapter of Bhagavad Gita. In the beginning of the 14th chapter, Krishna explains what kind of bindings are done when one is in the mode of goodness or mode of passion or mode of ignorance. And what is the result if the prominent mode is either mode of goodness, passion, or ignorance? And then also, when they get increased, what happens? All those situations are discussed in 14th chapter. And when Arjun heard about it, he raised a valid question, that how to get rid of these modes of material nature. Whatever we do, if that is the effect of the mode of material nature, then how to get rid of them? So Arjun asked in 14th chapter itself, Kairlingast gunan etan atito bhakti prabho himachara katham chaitam ten gunan ativartate. Arjun said, what are the symptoms of a person who has risen above these modes of material nature? Kailingas gunanitan atito bhakti prabhu kim achara. What does he, how he conducts himself? Achara. Achara means how he conducts himself. And then what is the means to transcend these three modes of material nature? So there are three questions in this verse raised by Arjuna. And in the next four verses after this, Kailingas Gunanetan, Lord replies first two questions. That is, what is the conduct of that person? And what are his symptoms? Prakasham cha pravritim cha moham evam cha pandav udasin vadasino gunir yona vichale, things like that. Sukh dukh samsvasasta samloštasham kanchana, etc. But the last question in which Arjun asked, what is the means by which we can transcend these modes of material nature? So the Lord replied, Mam yo cha vyabhicharena bhakti yogena sevate saguna samtitetan brahma bhujaya kalpa. This is the verse which Srila Prabhupada also quoted in the today's verse, in the purport of today's verse. Mam yo vyabhicharena bhakti yogena sevate saguna samtitetan brahma bhujaya kalpa. Lord says that those who are engaged in my devotional service, they can easily transcend these modes of material nature. A bhakti, a vyabhicharana means constantly, without fail. Those who are engaged in the devotional service, they can easily transcend these modes of material nature. And then bhakti yogena same thing. And by doing by rendering devotional service, they can transcend these modes. A question may be asked there, then who are those who are affected by these modes of material nature, or who are under the control or grip of these material mode of nature? So this is replied in 18th chapter. Na tadasti prithvi amvya divi deveshu vapuna sarvam prakriti jair gunai. Na tadasti prithvi amvya divi deveshu vapuna sarvam prakriti jair gunai. In other words, in this verse, it is said by Lord that everybody in the material world, right from the lower planetary system to the higher planetary system, even in heavenly planets. Everybody is under the tight control of these planets. We appear to be doing something and then claiming that we have done it. Actually, it is not we who have done it. It is these modes of material nature which have not the thing or not doing the issue of that यद्यपि शास्त्री बिल्कुल then another question may be raised as as why it is so important to discuss this topic of material mode of nature. It is because Lord gives us some sort of concession that if you know the situation of these modes of material nature, you have the possibility of coming back to Godhead. In the 14th chapter itself, Lord says, Nanya Punajal, Nanya Punajal, Nanya Punajal, last part of the verse is Mad Bhavam Sundar. He attains to my nature. Who attains to my nature? One who sees that none, no other than this mode of nature which are acting. It is not the individual entity who is acting. So things can be understood like this. Like I'm speaking, and if the class goes well, I think, oh, I given very good class. If class doesn't by any chance goes well, then I blame, oh, I start blaming myself. Actually, it is not that. As per this one, it is the material mode of nature. Whenever mode of goodness is prominent, we tend to give we tend to get good results. When mode of ignorance is there, we tend to get bad results. So, in other words, uh, one needs to understand that it is the material mode of nature which are functional. That's the intent of this word. Nandam Gulega Prakaram, Today, Vyavastha Paramiti, but Bhavam. And once we know that, it is not only the modes of material nature, we also get to know that who is controlling them. When we get to know that the controller is only the Lord, then we get engaged in His service. By getting engaged in His service, we get the opportunity to go back to God. Nothing will happen. So then another part of the verse saying that we have taken up the verse Mark yoga vichar bhakti yoga se हम गुना संस्कृतियाँ इसके साथ ब्रह्म भुलाय. What is the Brahma Bhulai stage? This has been addressed in Chandogya Upanishad. In Chandogya Upanishad, it is stated that there are 8 symptoms of a person who has achieved Brahma or Brahma Bhulai stage. And these 8 symptoms are, these are in Sanskrit, then I'll translate them. Atma Pahat Papna, Vijro, Vimritya Vishoko, Vighatto, Apipasa, Satyakam Sat Sankalpa, Sonaveshyavya. In the case of first symptom, it is said that Apahat Papna. A person who has achieved the Brahmhood stage, he has no relationship with sinful activities caused by ignorance. This ignorance is beginningless, which is also known as avidya. That's why everybody is born with the avidya. That's why we, in the Mangla Charan prayer, we start with saying, Om Agyan Timirandhasya Jnananjan Shalakaya. I am born with the darkness of ignorance. And we pray to our spiritual master that because of your mercy, I will be able to remove this ignorance by the lamp of knowledge. So what is this avidya? Because this is very relevant. Unless we come out of the grip of avidya, we will continue to remain in sinful activities, or will continue to perform sinful activities. So what is avidya? This is described in third canto of Srimad Bhagavatam. When the material world was created, the first creation was what? Avidya. And that was created from the shadow of Brahman. Brahman created from his shadow, and the verse goes like that. Sasat Chayam Vidyam Panch Paramanam Advatam Tamishram and Tamishram Tamo Moho Mahakam. What it means in the sun, in the creation, the chaya from the shadow of Vidyam, Panch Paramanam, five varieties of ignorances were created by Brahmaji, and they are known as Tamishram, Anti-Tamishram, Tamomoha, Mahaham. What is Tamishram? These are the translations which Prabhupada written in the Prabhupada. Tamishram means believing that I am the God. And what is Anti-Tamishram? Anti-Tamishram is everything will be finished when I am dying. With the death, everything is finished. That is Anti-Tamishram. And then Tamu, what is Tamu? I am this body. And Maha, and next is Moha. What is Moha? Everything related with the body is mind. And Mahatama, madness after sense gratification. The third one, the Tama, I am the body, is the cause of other four types of ignorances. And when one is out of this avidya, then one stops doing sinful activity. Now, as you know, we are discussing the 8 types of symptoms of a person who has achieved the Brahma state, Brahma. The second on that series is vision, no old age. A person who has achieved that state, he does not see old age, vision, just is old age, Jara. And as we hear in Brahma Samhita verses, Krishna is ever young. Advaita Vachutya Varari Varindurupam Adam Puran Pushtam Navyona is ever fresh, ever young. Devesh Durlabam Durlabam Bhaktam Govindam Adi Pushtam. So since we are part and parcel of Krishna, we can also become ever fresh young if we achieve that stage of Brahma Prasada. The next is Nimriti. There is no possibility of that person falling again into the trap of death. A person who has achieved that stage of Brahma does not see the death. And the next is Vishok. The person is free from happiness and distress. And that is what is explained in 12th chapter of Bhagavad Gita. Samam Shatru Savitrecha Vaman Manyo. Chief oceans of the Precious Sama Satyavajanta. Ullas Nasirmoti Tata Manak Manyo. The person who is performing devotional service is free from sukh and dukh, happiness and distress. And next is Vidighatsa. He is free from sense gratification. Lord also advises in the 5th chapter to his devotees to stay away from the sense gratification. ये संस्पर्शा होगा सुख योनि हेतु आदि अंतों नाते शुभम देव. The intelligent people do not get pleasure from the senses knowledge. Not issue without being intelligent. They do not become mad after sense gratification. And next is apasu. No desire other than favorable service to Lord Krishna. A devotee or a person on the Brahma stage, he does not desire for his sense gratification. He is always the center point of his thought is how I can serve Krishna. It reminds me of a devotee who purchased a very expensive vehicle, and the cost of that was $90,000. And when he purchased that, he shared it with me that I have purchased only to take Lord Jagannath into the Yatra. He had no personal desire, and he bought this expensive vehicle only for the service of the Lord. So the idea is that whatever we want to acquire or whatever we want to see as sense gratification, if we link it with the service of the Lord, then it becomes spiritual activity. And also, in this regard, Srila Rupa Goswami advises us in devotion. अन्य विलासिता शुभम ज्ञान दरबारिया अनुकूल Krishna you should do only favorable service to the Lord. And then Satya Kama. Devotee is having a desire only to have more and more service to the Krishna. He wants to be engaged in the service of Krishna. And again, we can learn from nectar of instruction, Utsaha Nishchaya Dhyaya. And last item in this is Sat Sankalpa. When a person who has achieved the stage of Brahmabhuta, whatever he desires, he achieves perfection. There is nothing, there is no substitute of perfection which he cannot achieve. So the conclusion of this is that this verse from the Yoga Upanishad inspires us to get more and more engaged in devotional service so that one day we may also achieve that state and become forever happy. Now, as today's verse is also saying, and Lord is advising on the benefits of bhakti. So how do we do bhakti? As we know, there are 9 limbs of bhakti, and most prominent among them is Shravan. Shravan is hearing Krishna. So since this is a Kartik month, and I'll sing the 2 verses from Gopiki, which are related to the Shravan. And that is what propelled me to speak to today's Gopiki. In Bhagavatam, 10th canto, when the Rastas, picture of which is right here in front of me, because he also in the back. Krishna performed this Ras dancer, and all of a sudden he disappeared from the dancing area. And Gopi they became distressed, and they started searching for Krishna. So in that search, when they were answered, they sang few verses, and they are expressing their a bewildered situation. That's why Krishna has disappeared from Radha. In the first verses I'm going to say, it is related to Shravana. This what is saying? Your katha or topics about your name, home, activities, they are just like pure nectar. This life is full of beauty, but your topics are full of pain. Learned people say it is not only the opinions of Gopis, but Gopis say that learned people say, and once those topics are heard, they take away all the sinful reactions. Kalpashap. Kalpashap. Shravan Mangalam. By hearing these topics, all auspiciousness comes. Shravan Mangalam. And they are giving all benefits. And those who are reciting these pastimes, they are the most beneficent persons on the earth. And in the next verse says, let's say the Krishna says that what kind of katha? Then Gopi says, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama, as a verse, and Gopi says, Hare Krishna, so as we as spoke, Krishna, let's say Krishna said that what kind of topics are beneficial for you? When you say that Aptatha, and Gopi says, Parahis, where you are beautiful smiles, Parahis, Prema Vishanam, seeing us with love, they will love even see your beautiful glances, Prema Vishanam, they have to do and walking around in the forest from the blue, where are the by meditating on those things, on those topics, they will not disappear. Rahasya Samhita. And what else? Our solitary talks, conversations we use in the forest, they all are very beneficial. Rahasya Samhita, yeah, to this question, they touch our heart. But for Jesus, they also agitate us. Because the meaning of the beautiful words. And I think I will just Hare Krishna. Our Granthas anyone wants to add anything?
A few times the Srimad Bhagavatam has mentioned that we hear personalities that have been instructed by the spirit personality body to enjoy material nature, but then later on, then they execute bhakti. And then you mentioned the other birth forces that we shouldn't enjoy. So what is the difference between like the verse before today's one, with Lord's instructing the pretenders to enjoy material nature, to given all facility to enjoy, but then later on, then they take up bhakti. So how do we understand that practitioner ourselves?
That on one hand, Lord is advising Jacob to learn material facility, and on the other hand, Lord is also assuring that after such enjoyment, he will come back. I think we can also take some kind of advice or some kind of lesson from the instance of Dhruva. Dhruva was also allowed to enjoy material pleasure in the Dhruva of 36,000 years from now. And then Lord also showed him that he will also come back to it.
Dhruva Maharaj enjoyed the material planet before he went to Dhruvaloka, which is like with the planet.
He was allowed, he was blessed by Lord to enjoy for 36,000 years. And after that, he was to go back to the abode of the Lord. Now, how do we understand? If we aware the reality of this material world for our self-gratification, if we remain conscious of the fact that these are not meant for us, the provider of this is supreme law, and we, by his mercy, we have been given this opportunity to enjoy, not thinking that I am the proprietor of this material world and I am here to enjoy it. It is just a matter of maintaining the conscience. This is what consciousness we enjoy. As I gave you the example of the devotee who required Bible of 90,000 years, and then even though he would, while writing, he would enjoy. But at the same time, at the back of his mind was that I have to serve the Lord in this. So while whenever we get the opportunity to enjoy any sense of it, if we remain possessed by the consciousness that this is not meant for me, the ultimate owner or controller of this particular law, then it will help us in remaining detached from that of sense of it. Otherwise, we are likely to grow a feeling that, oh, this is mine now. And by remaining in that consciousness, then we are likely to be in that of the world of the future. I hope it's just that we remain conscious. Like we don't act like a materialist. Srila Prabhupada has also mentioned in the purport about how a materialist or a non-devotee acts. He is just in pursuit of acquiring material facilities. So it reminds me of what I heard from my Guru Maharaj. It's just like a mouse, a rat. Here, there is probably no possibility to see, but we have seen in India a number of times, many times. If rat comes in a house which is not made of concrete but of mud, etc., then a rat will create a hole, which is called a bill in English, or rat hole. And to create that hole, he works very hard, even though his size is maybe 6 inches to 12 inches. That much space is enough for him. But he will create a long tunnel, just like and then he will run around all time. He is running around, picking up some grain from the back or some other object and storing them. Even though he requires very small space for a human, but he takes big effort to create a big hole. And then one day, a snake will come, and he will enter into that rat hole. And in the first opportunity, he will just follow that rat. So that situation is comparable with people who are not familiar with the science of Krishna consciousness, are not aware of the scriptures like Bhagavad Gita, Bhagavata. They are working very hard all the time. One house, second house, this car, that car. And then what is the end result? At the end, time in the form of death, just that. Then it's also stated in Bhagavatam. There are three things which are always working, under which we all are working. Kaam, Karam, Guna, Jnana. Kaam, Karam, Guna, Jnana. This is the beginning of the word. These three factors are unavoidable. Kal, time, good, we have discussed today material laws of nature, and then Karma, the fruitive activity, the result of a past fruitive activity. So therefore the point is that how best we can change our consciousness. So we don't remain on the platform of being an enjoyer. Supreme enjoyer is Krishna. Bhokta Ram Jagata Stham, Sarva Lok Maheshwara. This is Bhokta Ram Jagata Stham. We always remain conscious of the fact that supreme enjoyer is Bhagavan Krishna. So if we remain in that consciousness, we can avoid getting into the reaction of the That's what
the mature erotic putting out balance. All of these reflect what is not. As is the thing with material problems.
like what conclusion do we understand from what you said?
Their family, Analogy that sometimes milk can give you diarrhea, but another milk preparation can cure it. So the same milk substance causes suffering, relieves suffering.
That's the duality of the word. How you draw benefit from it.
For the devotees, the same material enjoyment is actually facilitating practice, the apparent utility.
His Grace Anadi Mohan Prabhu